Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the MLB slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, August the 6th. We're going to talk about the 7-game slate on Draftkings and the 5-gamer on Yahoo. Now, Draftkings is including the two 6 o'clock games in their main slate, whereas Yahoo is just going with the 7 o'clock games and on. They're doing just a 5-gamer. We'll talk about both slates, hit on pitching. Guys I like at pitcher today, we'll start there first. Then we'll take a look at 3 specific hitters I like. We'll talk about some stacks as well towards the end of the video. But before we do get started, guys, as always, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. Also, make sure you subscribe as well. I do have a ton of content coming out right now. I am uploading MLB videos pretty much every single day, and I'm also getting up NBA videos daily as well. Would appreciate it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell too. That notifies you every time I upload. So that way, you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. You'll get a notification sent to your phone whenever I do upload. So make sure you do all that. If you would like, you can also check out my Patreon exclusive content. I do have MLB content posted on Patreon along with NBA content. I get articles up for both slates. I'll have an NBA article posted, early in the morning, late afternoon, somewhere around like 12 or 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'll also have an article posted for this MLB slate. And then about a couple hours before lock, I'll have core plays posted for both sports. I'll have some home run calls posted for baseball. So, you can check out all the Patreon content link down below. See all that I have to offer over there. You can also give me a follow on Twitter. That's linked down below in the description too. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at today's slate. I'll just go ahead and say it. This baseball slate's not the best. Pitching's not great. Just so you can see, when you look at the pitcher-player pool, Tyler Chatwood is our third most expensive pitcher today, which just shows you what kind of pitching slate we're working with. Not a ton of great stacks either. Right now, the highest implied run total on the slate is the Yankees at 5.3 runs against Zach Eflin. We don't have a total in this Marlins-Orioles game, but I doubt that it's going to be higher than 5.3 for either one of those teams. So yeah, it's just not the best slate. I'm still going to be playing it. There's still money out there to win, so we'll break it down. We'll start off at pitcher. So at the top, we don't have any guys over 10K on DraftKings. Our most expensive pitcher is Carlos Carrasco at 9,800, and then we have like Luis Castillo at 9,500 on the other side of that game. Like I said, Chadwood at 9,400, and so on. So just taking a look at these 9K guys, I think my favorite here is definitely Luis Castillo. I just think he's the most talented pitcher on this slate. It's not the best spot here against Cleveland. If we look at their numbers last season against right-handed pitching, Cleveland was pretty good. You look at strikeout rate, I believe they're about middle of the pack in K rate versus righties. Let's see if I can find Cleveland on here. So, yeah, they were 21st. They're actually towards the bottom of the league. They had a 22.1% K rate against right-handed pitching. Look at their projected lineup for tomorrow. It's a good lineup. There are some easy outs, though, towards the bottom of the lineup. There are some strikeouts as well. Like Bradley Zimmer will strike out, Franmil Reyes, Domingo Santana will strike out. I believe Oscar Mercado has a pretty high K rate as well. Jose Ramirez, he'll K some. So I do like this spot for Castillo, especially at 9,500. It's not like we're paying 11K for him. Normally this is a guy we see priced around, 10K, 11K. At 9,500, $300 less than Carrasco. I think I'd rather play Castillo over Carrasco today. I just don't like the spot for Carrasco against the Reds. The Reds have a good lineup. Not really a team I want to attack. I could see Carrasco having a good game. I just prefer to go Luis Castillo. I think Castillo just has better strikeout stuff. And, if anybody's going to go out there and get 10 Ks, it would be Castillo. So he's the guy that I like most on DraftKings. Now on Yahoo, that game is not included on their main slate, so we can't really talk about those guys there. But then we have Tyler Chatwood for 9,400. So there's no way that I play Tyler Chatwood on DraftKings. I just think he's way too expensive. He's not this good of a pitcher. I don't know what kind of drugs he took over the offseason, but this is not a guy that you expect to put up 28, 38 DraftKings points. Like most games, Tyler Chatwood is, a good game for Tyler Chatwood is like 5 innings, 2 runs allowed, and like 5 strikeouts. Just not a guy that you expect to go out there and just get 8 Ks, 11 Ks. Maybe he changed something during the offseason, but I don't expect him to continue pitching at this high or this well as he is right now. At 9,400, I just can't play him over guys like, Luis Castillo, who have shown that they are elite strikeout pitchers. Carlos Carrasco shown a ton of talent. Chatwood, this is just coming out of nowhere. So at 9,400, I don't really want to go there. But on Yahoo, I think Tyler Chatwood's actually a pretty good play. If we look at their pitcher pricing, I don't want to pay $41 for Zach Gallen against the Astros. Nate Pearson's a good, talented young pitcher. I think he's going to be good in the future. But against the Braves here, this is not the best spot. Lynn Bloom against a talented White Sox team, I don't really want to go there. Chadwood does get a good matchup against the Royals. A pretty weak lineup. Not a ton of strikeouts in their lineup, but, a pretty weak lineup overall. I think he is one of the top pitchers on Yahoo at $35. He's not priced up over there like he is on Draftkings. So if I'm going to play Chadwood today, it's going to be on a site where he's cheap, which is Yahoo. Draftkings, 9,400. I'll avoid that and I'll look elsewhere. But then other pitchers we could maybe look to. So we don't know yet who's starting for the Marlins, but it seems like it's going to be Jordan Yamamoto. I think he did get called up from the minors. I think he is going to make this, or he is going to start for today. Assuming it is him making the start. At 8,400, I think he could be interesting here against the Orioles. The Orioles just don't have a good lineup. They have strikeouts in their lineup too. Yamamoto did show some upside last season. He gets to pitch at home today in Marlins Park. At 8,400, he seems a little bit too expensive, especially making his first MLB start this season. We don't really know what to expect. But if you just look at this pitching slate, it's literally terrible. No pitcher. Even the guys at the top, like Castillo and Carrasco, I still have some concerns with their matchups. So, there's no pitcher you feel good about rostering today. I'm just going to roster guys that I think can go out there and get strikeouts. And, the Orioles are a team that Ks, so I'm fine playing Yamamoto. Tuki Toussaint, he feels too expensive at 8,300, but he's facing the Blue Jays at home. I could see using him. Maybe a guy like Jordan Montgomery, 7,800 against the Phillies. I know the Phillies have been, ice cold to start the season. And Montgomery actually looked pretty good in his first start this season. It was a tough spot against the Red Sox, and he pitched really well. 5 2/3 innings, only allowed 5 hits, 1 run, got 4 strikeouts, 18 Draftkings points. This feels like a slate where 18 Draftkings points, you'll just take that and run with it. 18 DK points could be one of the highest scores we see on this slate with how bad the pitching is. It's not even that we have a ton of bad pitchers. We kind of do, but Zach Gallen's a really good pitcher, but he just has a tough matchup against the Astros. So, it's hard to consider him. We do have good pitchers in Castillo and Carrasco, but they're also, not in the best spots either. I think that's the main issue for today. There's no pitcher you just see and you think, oh, man, I got to lock him in. There's just no pitcher you feel like's a must-play today, which I guess is going to make for an interesting slate. You can just mix and match a bunch of guys that you at least feel somewhat confident in. I think Montgomery's someone I do feel a little bit confident in. Against the Phillies here, a team that does have some power against lefties, Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins, Real Muto. These guys have power against left-handed pitching, but Montgomery looked decent in his first start. He's 7,800. It's a really weak pitching slate. I don't mind him today. But other than that, I think that's probably it for that price range. Now, if we're talking about value plays, there is a value play that I do like. Wade LeBlanc, 6,600 for Wade LeBlanc, I actually like as a value. He gets to face the Marlins, one of the best matchups you can get. LeBlanc's really cheap on Yahoo as well, so I like him quite a bit over there too at $27. So right now, I don't think we have implied run totals for this game. We don't have totals on this game yet. But if I had to guess, I think we probably see, under 5 totals for both sides. I think we could see a low-scoring game here. This game is being played in Marlins Park, which is, a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. Wade LeBlanc, a guy that's, looked decent so far this season. 5 2/3 innings against the Red Sox, allowed 4 runs, but did get 4 strikeouts, 14 DK points in that game. And then his next start against the Rays, 5 1/3 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts, 13 DK points. He's had 2 somewhat tough matchups against the Red Sox and the Rays. Now he gets to face the Marlins in Marlins Park. I like this spot a lot for Wade LeBlanc. If we do look at splits last season versus lefties, the Marlins, in terms of K rate, they didn't have that high of a K rate. They were about middle of the pack. They were 19th in strikeout rate against lefties, 22.5%. But a lot of their, offensive statistics weren't great. Batting average, 244 batting average, which was 6th worst in the league. If we look at ISO, a power metric, they had the lowest ISO in the league against lefties. If we look at WOBA, WRC+, all these offensive categories, the Marlins are towards the bottom of the league. WRC, second worst in the league. WRC+, second worst in the league. WOBA, second worst in the league. The Marlins just don't have a great lineup. They did make some changes during the offseason. They got Corey Dickerson, they got Jesus Aguilar, they got Jonathan VR. But those still aren't hitters you're really afraid of. Aguilar has some good power against lefties, but he'll also strike out. Jonathan VR, he's a good, contact hitter, can put the ball in play, can steal bases, but against lefties, he's much worse against lefties than he is righties. so I'm not really worried about him. I like LeBlanc as a value, 6,600 on DK, 27 bucks on Yahoo. This feels like a slate where I just kind of want to, mix and match at pitcher and then just load up on all the different expensive bats, whether that's Astros hitters or some Cubs bats or Yankees bats. That's kind of the way I'm looking to attack this slate. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for pitching. I think just to quickly break it down, my pitcher player pool, if I had to guess, like if I was playing 100 lineups today, who would I have in my player pool? I would probably have both Carrasco and Castillo in there. On Draftkings, I doubt I would have Tyler Chadwood in there, but I would definitely have him in my player pool on Yahoo. Obviously, I like LeBlanc, so Castillo, Carrasco, LeBlanc. Assuming Yamamoto is pitching, I would have him in my player pool. Toussaint and Montgomery, I would probably have both of them in my player pool. I think this guy for the Astros, Brandon Bielak, someone you could consider as well. So I'd probably have him in my pool against the D-backs. He has made one relief appearance, or actually 2 relief appearances so far this season. Against Seattle, came in and pitched 3 1/3 innings, allowed 2 runs, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. And then against the Angels, 2 innings pitched, allowed 3 walks, got 2 Ks. In those two appearances, he threw 53 and 40 pitches. So I don't really know how deep he's going to go here. I don't know if he's going to go like deep enough to where we can consider him. I thought he threw more pitches than just 53. I thought he threw like 65, but I was wrong. So yeah, maybe Bielak isn't an option then. If he only threw 53 pitches, I don't know if they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to let him go like 80 pitches today. He probably only gets like 60 or 65. So never mind on Bielak. I guess in that 7K range, I'd probably just stick to Montgomery, and that's really it for me. So that's really kind of what I'm looking at pitcher. There's guys you could take shots on. Like if you want to play Nate Pearson against the Braves, I don't mind that, but it's probably not something I'm going to do. You have Lynn Blom, who showed some promise in his first start. He did get hurt in that start. He pitched 3 2/3 innings. He was actually looking really good, and then he got hurt. I think he allowed, I can't remember what happened. I'm pretty sure he allowed like 2 runners on base. Honestly, I can't remember. He allowed 2 runners on base, then he got hurt, and then the bullpen allowed those runs to score. But, I can't remember from the top of my head. I do remember, though, that he got hurt in that game, had to leave early. He's 5,300. He's incredibly cheap. Facing a White Sox team, has a lot of talent, but also has a lot of strikeouts. He's a guy you could take a shot on, but me personally, I'd probably just rather stack the White Sox today than play a guy like Lynn Blom. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at for pitcher. Now let's talk about some bats. So there's no teams that I think just really stand out. I mean, you can kind of stack any teams today. The Yankees against Zach Eflin are definitely going to be on my radar. Zach Gallen's a good pitcher, but the Astros just have such a good lineup. I could still see stacking against Gallen and rostering some Astros. I do like some Cubs bats against Brad Keller quite a bit. I think Brad Keller is probably one of the worst pitchers on this slate. So definitely a guy I want to look to stack against. The Braves, another team, just a really talented team overall. Nate Pearson's, he's going to be a good pitcher soon. He's already pretty talented. He looked really good in his first start this season. But the Braves have a really good lineup. 4.8 implied run total isn't very high, but, for looking at this slate, I'm pretty sure that's like 3rd highest on the slate. So, yeah. And then obviously you could play some White Sox against Lindblom, but I think the Cubs are probably my favorite team today to look to against Brad Keller. I really like the lefties here. I think the lefties are who I want to target, but, I don't mind playing right-handed bats, especially if I'm going to be full stacking this team. So, like Bryant, Baez, Contreras, these guys are obviously going to make my lineups if I'm full stacking. But I do like the lefties a lot. Anthony Rizzo and Kyle Schwarber, I think both look really appealing. 2 lefties with a ton of power. They should be able to do some damage here against Keller. Rizzo's 5K on DraftKings, Schwarber 4,700. If we look over to Yahoo, you got Rizzo at $21. Schwarber is $18. So both these guys are pretty expensive on both sites. But, there's no pitching to pay up for today, especially not on Yahoo. So you're going to have the salary to fit these guys in. If we do take a look at Brad Keller's numbers, just last season against lefties, he wasn't, terrible. He wasn't like a complete gas can, but he did have his starts where he would just go out there and just not be on his game and would really struggle. 314 WOBA allowed to lefties. In terms of home runs, he didn't give up a ton of home runs, just 0.84 home runs per 9 to righties, 0.79 to lefties, but didn't really get any strikeouts. 19% K rate to lefties, 15% to righties. That's not really going to work against this really good Cubs lineup. If you can't strike these guys out and you're going to let them put the ball in play all game, they're going to be able to do some damage against you. I like Schwarber and Rizzo a lot. I like this Cubs team just as a whole. I think they're definitely going to be one of my favorite stacks tonight. The top of their lineup is somewhat expensive, the 1 through 5, but you got a lot of value at the bottom. It's not like you even need the value today. I could definitely see just doing like a Cubs 5-man stack, just roster the 1 through 5 hitters, because you're probably not going to need those punt value plays at the bottom of the lineup. Ian Happ's someone that I'll roster regardless because he has a good amount of power. But like Jason Hayward, Carantini, you probably don't need to go to those guys. You just don't need the value today with no expensive pitching to pay up for. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm liking in terms of Cubs bats. I don't have any problems with any of these guys, but I think Rizzo and Schwarber, the 2 lefties with a ton of power, are probably my favorite guys to go to against Keller. And then another team I like a lot is the White Sox. So the White Sox were a team I stacked up a good amount on Wednesday night, and it didn't really work out. Last time I checked, they had 0 runs through 8 innings. They were just not doing anything. But it was kind of a weird slate Wednesday night. Like, not many teams scored runs, especially the teams you would expect to score runs. I'm pretty sure the team with the highest amount of runs right now is like the D-backs against Lance McCullers. They have like 7 runs through 4 innings, which is very unexpected. Wednesday was a really weird slate. The White Sox burned me, but I'm going to probably be going right back to him today against Josh Lindblom. I think this is a pitcher we can definitely look to attack, especially against lefties. If we just take a look at his numbers, his career numbers, he doesn't have much of a sample size so far this season. He's only faced 17 batters this season. He did pitch in the majors, though, back in 2017 and, before that. So looking at his career numbers, he's faced 316 lefties throughout his career, 366 WOBA allowed. If we look at home runs, he did give up a decent amount of home runs, 1.3 home runs per 9 to lefties. Only has a 16% K rate against them as well. This guy definitely struggles more to lefties than righties, so I think we definitely want to roster lefties against him. But if you're full stacking the White Sox, I have no problem with guys like Luis Robert, Abreu, Grandal, Eloy Jimenez. If Encarnacion's in the lineup, you could obviously play him. But my boy Yohan Moncada, I'm going to be going right back to him today. Just a dude with a ton of power against right-handed pitching. Like I said, Lindblom struggles to lefties. Doesn't really get strikeouts either, and that's one of the things. I didn't mean to type in Lindblom. That's one of the things that Moncada struggles with is striking out. But the K rate against lefties is very low for Lindblom. I really like Moncada here. Whether you want to stack the White Sox or just play him as a one-off, I have no problem with either one. Me personally, I'll probably be stacking the White Sox. I just love their lineup, top to bottom. I think they have so much power, so much upside. They're going to be a team that I stack a lot this season, and especially on a slate like this, where there's no team that really just stands out head and shoulders above the rest. I think just stacking up the teams that have the upside. That's what I'm going to be looking to do today. And the White Sox are a team that has the upside. If they get to Lindblom early and they get to the bullpen, they can really do damage. They just have so many good hitters. They have good lefties like Moncada and Grandal with a ton of power, and then you got guys from the right side of the plate, that can also mash the ball with Luis Robert, Abreu, Encarnacion, Eloy Jimenez. Even like Nomar Mazara, he's not a terrible hitter, and he can still hit righties pretty well. So love this White Sox team. I think they're definitely one of my favorite stacks again. I'm going to be going right back to them. I really like the Cubs here against Brad Keller as well. You can obviously stack up the Yankees. The Yankees are always a good stack, especially on a slate like this where you should be able to pay up for them with no expensive pitching to go to. Zach Eflin, he's not a gas can, but definitely a pitcher you can attack, especially with a really good Yankees lineup. But I doubt I go to any bats in this game. I do think the Astros make some sense against Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen, like I said, is a really good pitcher, but the Astros are just so good. They can blow up anyone, so I could see stacking the Astros. I think some Braves against Nate Pearson makes some sense. Pearson, we don't really know what to expect. He looked good in his first start. He's expected to be, one of the top pitching prospects, I'm pretty sure. But still, second major league start. Is he going to go out there and just mow the Braves down? I would say I highly doubt it. So 4.8 implied run total for them. Definitely a team you can stack up. Another team that just has a really good lineup. A lot of, guys that just put the ball in play, don't strike out. There's not a ton of easy outs in this lineup. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for stacks today and for my bats. I know I didn't talk about all the hitters. I do that over on Patreon. If you want my full article where I break down each position, talk about my favorite hitters at each position, I do that over there. So you can check out the Patreon link down below. Get access to all my additional content that I have to offer besides the videos that I put up on YouTube. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe as well before you do get out of here. Hit that subscribe button. Click the notification bell too, so that way you do get notified every time I upload. So that way, you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. You'll get a notification every time I upload. But yeah, good luck tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.